So still skyrocketing up. Obviously watch those 1-minute sibis, and the 15-minute chart really isn't too much help here. No inefficiencies on this left side. You got the buy side all the way up here at 15,453. And I sent a picture of the hourly charts into the predictions chat. Do have a little bit of SMT there. You have quite a large gap on ES that we're filling. NQ climbed all the way up to the top end. So I want to see how ES reacts to the hourly. I feel like after 10 a.m. will probably be the cleanest. I don't think anything before that. I don't really want to take longs until we can get really retracement, preferably back into discount of this. So if we dig down into here, just gap there, 3 minutes in the gap, then that's what I'd be looking at. Yep, NQ's filling there, hourly gap, just filled it all the way to the premium end. So that is something to be aware of. You can see the SMT divergence there with ES as well. So keep that in mind. You can also pull up the 15-minute charts. I'm sure those are also helpful. So bouncing out this order block here. So this is ES. You can see not really as bullish for sure compared to NQ, right? And YM. So indices are not aligned at all. So I would not be touching this until indices are paired up, which should come with the news. Typically, whenever you see indices not lined up like this in the morning, there's either a news driver at 10 or we're waiting for the 950 macro to kind of pair us up, which typically after 10:10 indices are lined up for the most part. So let me send that to the chat as well. So news. Take a look at the quad chart really quick. So yeah, you can see these three charts up here. High end, SMT there, and NQ all popping up. So everyone's doing different things. Shows that it's not high probability. So NQ would really need to drop. You can see we're already below. So here's your 930 open, right? We're almost. I mean, we're attacking it at. Where's the 930? Yeah, we're already below it actually. On YM here, definitely not below it on NQ, and ES is almost below it. So I'll be watching that for a potential short idea. Now let's see if there's any breakers I guess we could use. So sell side liquidity, look at the 5-minute. We have consolidation in here. Some further sell side there. If you take the full dealing range from low end to high end, this right here would be my first target for sell side. Pretty relatively equal right there. And within discount. So if we wanted to drop off past this 930 open, that's what you could be looking for. Still watching that hourly chart. ES really needs to pop up towards 43.93. Good 10 points up on ES for me to start looking for upside movement on the indices. Or if this news driver just pops us up, obviously, then you keep looking at that. We're close to the PM session high as well on NQ. So watch, what is this, 15,396.5. You can see DXY is also not the cleanest either. Do a trading competition in the community. Hey, if we get enough people to do it, I'm super down. Um, it could be a whole public thing too. We can get everyone, as many people as we want in the Discord. See whoever gets the most, what percentage gain in a month or something like that. Do something fun. Could figure it out. I know ICT is already ready for that 2024 Robbins Cup. He posted about it this morning. Oh, he just sent something out. Of course, he sent a he sent an execution video. Last trade, yeah. Just him taking the short. Good old ICT. Still chopping around in this range. So yeah, really no interest for me for this 950 macro until the news driver. Now, typically with the news, you'll see two forms of entries. One of them being before the news driver, which is typically a retracement stage. So if you see a dealing range, either a parent dealing range or a child dealing range that were kind of extended like this. So this is a dealing range because we just swept out sell side here and we're at the top end. So you could drag that out. Retracement down into here, you could see the news driver pop us back up. Or you also have to keep in mind we're also in the parent dealing range of this, right? So we're kind of retracing into premium of this range here. So you could see a short off of that. But most likely, those higher probability setups with the 10 a.m. news come after the news or right during it. So with these 10 a.m. red folder ones, you can actually be in those moves. I know for some of the news like 8:30 CPI, FOMC, NFP, those are the things you really don't want to be in. 10 a.m. news, as long as you're on the right side, you should see that displacement's basically the same exact volatility as the 9:30 open. Can you draw the time-based fib? I don't see any breakers that are forming that are clean enough. So I don't really see where I would draw a fib from. If we do form this high end up here, and then we start trading lower, and you see a breaker formation in there, then you could draw the breaker from whatever high point is to whatever the lower point is, and then look at the entry time frame within there. I know you got some good ones yesterday. So still popping up, respecting bullish PD arrays. I'm watching these order blocks now, closed above it, so should use it as support as we approach the PM high from yesterday, which is this blue line here at 15,396. Yeah, still not. I mean, you can see, yes, we tapped into this. To me, from a daily perspective, this is very, very bullish price action, especially if we can just use this and start climbing up. If you take a look at NQ, we have a breaker down here. Left a lot of breakaway gaps. And ES is just filling their gap right here. Really, really far in premium. So if we were to climb up next week, I think that, further buy side up here would be a target for the coming months, probably going to February, January-ish. Even new highs could be possible. Yeah, I got buy side up here. DXY, let's look if there's downside targets. Yeah, tons of downside targets. We've had this pump up since July, which is kind of nuts. About 7% increase in the dollar. A lot of sell side liquidity pools. I don't think we'll get too far past this July low. We'll have to see. Filling this gap here. Already broke structure. Filling up to the premium end of that. So we'll just watch. Already starting to accelerate upwards. I'm completely fine with missing this move. Equal lows at 4372.25 on ES. 4372. Oh yeah, right here. With the equities open. That's what I'm thinking. Run the low, shoot the rest of the day. I would like to see at least till 10:30 some sort of retracement because this kind of move up here, I think we're bound for retracement. We did get this 930 open dipping to the fair value gap, so I guess that's enough of a retracement. Yeah, I still think we're overextended. So I would like to see at least a short-term run on sell stops. And with the structure of YM right now, to me this is looking like we want some downside, at least maybe for this low here. So that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, you can see NQ is just dropping or popping up, YM's dropping off. Right, so there's really nothing that's higher probability in this at all. So this is where you gotta just develop that patience, right? There's no point in entering off low probability setups. If no setups form during the morning session, you just leave it at that. DXY target 10.7, 348 indices aren't following. Let's take a look. Yeah, we do have a lot of buy set up here. This is also good short term. Target right up here, 105.995. Take a look at the daily. Oops. Doesn't want to load. There we go. You said 117? Oh yeah. We'd really need a drop off. I really think, yeah, we're overextended on the daily for sure too. I would like to see this gap here filled on ES, at least by the next week. You can see it's over here on YM as well. NQ, I don't know if we want to turn into this breaker because we just validated this one. So if anything, we dip into this bisi. Yeah, neither do I. I don't really like taking buys up here. I mean, if you're just looking at a daily structure, I don't like taking buys up here, especially, I mean, we are pretty close to these highs. So, I mean, just a slight run up past this, but I still think if we were to just pop this, I think we'll get a retracement. We have a fair value gap in here as well. Another one on here. So if we were to just sweep this, I think we would retrace at least into discount of the daily range that's formed. But I mean, for the long term, I think the quarterly shift is in. So this October 23rd low should not be swept out, I'm assuming, until we reach some buy side targets, which we did just dip into premium right there. So we'll just be watching the daily for the next couple weeks, see what we want to do. So starting to trade through this order block, we're holding the mean threshold there. Let's take a look at YM, still chopping on at the low, DXY climbing up. So favoring some downside here. See what we want to do here. If we can climb and close through that, that's a nice breaker formation. Preferably would have swept out the highs up here though. So then you can draw your time fib from here to here. Entry between 10 o'clock, what is it, 10:02, 10:04. Still no displacement though. I don't like drawing fibs unless there's displacement through the low. Clear change in state of delivery. I did post a Q&A post on market structure shifts, so if you're struggling with that, there's a couple of rules that I follow personally, and just kind of tips and tricks. It's only like 4 little bullet points. The live stream recording as well from yesterday is also posted with a kind of chopped up video. It's only 8 minutes long, so if you missed that, take a look at that. I think it's 8 minutes. Yeah. So covering the 2 950 moves that we captured, one up for that 20 points, and then the other one to the downside. And then we got that fractal market maker sell model in there as well. So I'm watching to see if we form this up closing candle here, close below it, use it as resistance, could see a retracement. Actually, not even a retracement. I like to see NQ just catch up to where ES and YM are. Filling this gap here, and there is your 10 a.m. news. So definitely looking for downside now. Like to see NQ catch up to where His brothers are. Now, if we do form a sibi, could look that to use short. Just filled the 3-minute gap there. Okay. So we'll see where this candle wants to close. 18 seconds left on it. Definitely a strong wick there. Can move some of this stuff. So this is why you typically want to wait for that 10 a.m. news. So we should have a confirmed order block here. I'm watching to see how we want to respect that. Looking good so far. Now you would expect NQ to catch up relative to ES. So ES is already below their equities open. YM definitely below their equities open. Reaching for the sell side that we marked out already. So equities open right here is where I guess you could target. I think that's pretty valid. Also this 3-minute gap lower right in here. We're filling this one right now. If we can close below it, watch that gap. 2-minute, nothing there. So watch this 1-minute sibi that may form. We have the order block layered on top of it. So I'm liking that for a potential short idea. So there's your sibi with the order block. So order block low. Let's take a look at the 2-minute. Yep. So you could also use 2-minute gap. Whoops. 2-minute gap right in there. That could form. Close below the old selling. So if you see this as a fractal market maker sell model, we have inversion order block right here. So this was originally used as a bullish order block, right up there. You can see the premium end of the wick being used. So we did close below. So we'll see now if this wants to be used as a breakaway gap, which looks like we're getting some speed now. So first partial for me is this equities open. Then obviously the sell side down here. Can change this to purple. So watch this gap now to be used as inversion. Okay. 3-minute gap here, close below it, wicking up into it. Like to see that used to resist price from pushing much higher than that. Looking solid, closing below. Should see some speed now. Don't have any order blocks in this kind of range here. So the first kind of tap or bounce that we may see is off of this 930 open. You can see that as an order block as well. Got that wick, closed above it there, got the wick down into it. So got to be mindful of this. That's why I'm looking to take partial at the first, order block within discount. So there, you could also use sell side drag right there. Basically the first target, right? There's your acceleration. So using the inversion pretty well, right? Close below it, wicked up into it, close below again, wicked up into it, close below. So should see pretty much some speed there till the low. Obviously this sell side I would like to see as well. So NQ should just be catching up. So ES is running for their AM low right now. YM running for their sell side. Already purged it using the bearish order blocks pretty effectively there. Take a look back at good old NQ. So starting to run lower, kind of having some trouble get through this 2-minute gap. So looking for the open here, still kind of meandering around. No order blocks are really formed in this, just kind of selling off here. So there is your, maybe? Yeah, I decided to just enter in quickly there at the low end of this. Yeah, breakaway gap. Once we close with this old selling, didn't like seeing that breakaway in the order block tapped into. Um, Kind of chopping around here. I don't really like that. Let's see if the 2-minute, filling this 2-minute gap here. 3-minute gap further up. Look at the 5-minute. Trade into that 5-minute gap lower. Started to shoot back up. We just tapped into the wick, I think, there. Yeah. So gotta be careful now. Getting further up. So we have this inversion for rally gap, this gap here. Look at the 3-minute, this gap up here. So preferably you don't really want to see a trade back up into this order block. Take a look at ES. Chopped around their new week opening gap. Still haven't taken out the AM low. We have relative equal lows down here. Checking off the new WOG. Still not the cleanest. I really don't like the price action too much. It's not like the cleanest 950 macro. We haven't had a fair value gap fill really at all on the 1 minute with this move lower. Might see a pop into premium there. Yeah, it's just not the cleanest one. Close below there, validated order block. Especially if you can close through this bisi here. You can see the little bisi. So watch to see how this supports price. This kind of tiny gap right here. If you can close through that, it's a good indication that we should accelerate through. Go for this low again, then towards the sell side. Something like that. So that I think is of a better entry, right? Trade up through there, tap into the IFVG and the 3-minute gap. So that I think is a better entry. Still within macro time. 2 minutes till the close. Close through there, so that could be another entry point. And if we validate this order block, which looks like we're about to do. Yeah, it is super, super close to the end of the macro, but definitely a better entry than, I don't know, anything up here. I don't really like entering before the news, so if we just look at after 10 a.m., I mean, the only really entry point after that, that's clean enough. If you're not familiar with just, getting in while the move is happening, would probably be this wick here, a 1004 candle. Just because we closed below this IFPG, wicked up into it, that could have been an entry. But I think this is also fine. Closing below, And in the macro here, yeah, still looking for here. I feel like we still should run out sell side. So if we validate this order block, wake up into it, it's another valid entry point, slightly outside the macro time. We got a sibi in here as well, like that. This one, see if I can remove some of this stuff. There you go. Getting your ankles broken in these markets. Yeah, I know. Yesterday was just rough, I think, too. At least on NQ. ES was a bit cleaner, for sure. We get that 950 macro run up into a sibi and then displace lower. But NQ in the morning, I would say up until like really 11 o'clock was just buy side sweep, sell side sweep, buy side sweep, sell side sweep. It was just a mess. Even that 1050 macro that I sent out at the end, I didn't really think it was going to go all the way for the highs, which it ended up doing. So filling this gap again. Not really liking the price action too much. I don't want to see it trade above this swing high. So I'm watching that. Kind of like that. So deep retracement into an order block. And there is kind of a stop out. Yeah, I'm not really liking the price action now. So we'll just wait for 1030. Even if we get that run lower, this move up, it's basically, yeah. So don't really want to be in position now for shorts. We'll wait for 1030. I'll send the futures trade picture over really quick. Yeah, so not really the cleanest of entries. I saw the SMT at the highs, so decided to enter after we broke below the kind of the breaker there, and then took it off. Roughly at what was it, 25? Yeah, 25-ish points, 24. Not something I really would have taken. I only used one contract, so I wasn't super confident in, holding there for anything longer. So I'll send that to future trades as well. But these are all good study points, right? So even if these macros are not clean, it's good to still screenshot them and use them for backtesting later because they all have different variations, right? So if you can identify those variations beforehand, like something like this where we had SMT at the highs, news driver to pair us up, you can basically expect this news driver to line us up correctly, which you don't even need context for that. Obviously, you do need context for that, but when you see indices like this, NQ's at the high end, ES is already respecting basically bearish PD arrays. We're filling this gap here. You're not going to expect this to shoot up, especially since we swept out buy side there. You're already starting to see a stall program, which we're already in a stall program, right? Swept out the buy side, up closing candle respected, order block, close below that, up closing candle, we're trading up into. So this 10 a.m. news you're expecting to just dump off, which it did here on NQ as well. In fact, it didn't take out the equal lows bothering me. Yeah, I feel like we should still get it, but like we're just kind of in consolidation here. I mean, we swept out the short-term buy side, so that should start the sell program. We'll see. Trace up into this tiny fair value gap here as well, and the order block. I don't know, man. It's Friday price action. Definitely not the clean. So watch, if you get speed through here, you'll see the sell side swept out. Then we could look at potentially taking longs. Hourly chart, take a look at your hourly charts. NQ's rejecting off of that premium end. Yes, definitely has some SMT divergence there at the highs. Another thing you got to be careful of. We have a fair value gap on the NASDAQ, a little bit lower, right around here. So it lines up basically pretty well with this 930 open. But you can see we're just consolidating. So anything until 10:30 for me is just noise, unless we can see a clear market maker model. Let me actually remove some of this stuff. Trading with this IFEG still, 3-minute. A lot of gaps just forming back and forth. Is your good old broadening formation, right? So it's just accumulating liquidity. A lot of sell side's been accumulating there. So to the buy side. Think of the 10, 50 to 11, 10 macro. Wait, let me do this really quick. Yeah, never mind. No TGIF setup. Yeah, I really wasn't liking TGIF either, so I didn't really mention it in daily bias. If you just look at the daily on NQ, we're just, I mean, for the most part, if you look at it, we're basically just consolidating this week, right? Like we haven't moved much from last Friday. We're just in this range here. So no TGIF. Weekly, I'm sure is atrocious. Yeah, weekly is just this stick. Turtle soup, yeah, potentially up here. I'm not gonna take it as a short, just because we're kind of chopping around here. But yeah, to start those buy and sell programs, you want to see that soup of liquidity, which you can form models just off of that. But you would like to see expansion towards this sell side here that's been accumulating down past the 9:30 open. Money up there, tapping into the order block. Go to higher time frames, you can see it. Order block there. I mean, if you look at the higher time frames, like 5-minute, still decently bearish. You feel this 5-minute gap up here, close to this bisi. So you should still want to head for this low. But yeah, outside of time really means nothing to me. Negative 2.5%, 4 losses, 1 win. I mean, yeah, to get off lightly from that is it's pretty good. What's the risk percentage per one? Is it 1%? Yeah, that is thing. Basically just half, right? It's pretty good. Took profit at the top of the 3-minute for value gap. Yeah, right here. That would have been a nice one. That's basically where I took profit off too. Sells from the 1-minute NQ for value gap doing numbers. Yeah. I don't know. This week is just definitely rough. I mean, the price action earlier in the week was not bad. Yesterday and today, just not the best. I think next week, do we have CPI next week too? We do. CPI next week. Don't think we have FOMC. 10 a.m. news. Yeah, so just CPI next week. And holidays right around the corner. Yep. So, I mean, that's why ICT leaves, right? So anytime between really second week of November all the way to second week of February is kind of that rougher price action. So I would say if you can, just a lot time in the morning. PM session is going to be kind of rough, probably throughout those days. But yeah, this AM session probably from 8:30 to 11 will be your cleanest setups. And you really got to be comfortable with those variations of your model. So if you haven't already, at least have PDF screenshots of at least 20 of those different variations and then study those. Macro review is also a good resource if you use any of the macros. There's some in there, so you can review. And there's tons of pictures in there, even if it's not a specific macro model you're using. You could also just use all of the context and framework behind just each stages of delivery within those macros. So you can see yesterday we had a nice retracement on ES, reversal condition on NQ. SMT divergence is also super important. You could see all that yesterday in the AM and PM. So typically I like to just use SMT as where is the liquidity that I would like to see a reversal at. So it's kind of hard to explain it like in a clear manner because it's very just you do it enough and that's what you look for. There's no like cut process I think to use, and it's also not just an indication of okay we're gonna reverse right now. It's more of just like a feel, I guess is the best way to describe it. It is very, very useful. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. Because there's so many different like tiny SMTs, right? Like if you're looking at the 1 minute, I'm sure we have SMT everywhere. Like here, you can see that as SMT, right? We have these lows relatively equal, not swept out on NQ, and YMS or ES is swept there is right there, right there. Um, and we didn't sweep out the sell side down here. Yeah, it's definitely like you have to just spot it a lot really to develop that muscle memory. It's definitely not needed though. I really don't think it's needed. If you're just using the only thing I really think it's needed on is maybe the 15 or the hourly, something like that. If you're looking, to trade an entire morning session, um, I would say if you're wanting to start spotting SMT, look at those higher time frames first. It's very, very easy to spot the SMT on the hourly. Um, Even if you're just doing like a post-day review or in the morning before you wake up looking at those higher time frames, it's much easier to see the SMT, right? So if you're looking at the hourly here, you can see we filled all the way up to the premium end here of that fair value gap, and then if you look at ES, premium end all the way up here, right? So just simple things like that, just to train your eye, um, just to kind of see where we are positionally. That's also very, very good, and that's where you start. So I would say if you want to start learning more, 15 on the hourly is the way to go, because then you have way more time to identify it. On the 1 minute, it's crazy because if you miss it, right, it can be like a 10-minute window where if you don't see the SMT, then you already missed it. Um, so yeah, start on those higher time frames so you have like at least a couple hours, maybe days to spot it, and um, then you could switch to the lower time frames where it's much quicker. Yeah, that's just yesterday came within what, a point, half a point within sell side there. That's tough. Now we're looks like we're maybe breaking above. Got to see how you use this order block here, right? We have a inversion order block here with this up closing range, possibly a bullish order block here, and we're within new week opening gap. NQ is just a mess. Take a look at oil. Oh yeah, this is definitely the price action you want to be trading. What the heck is this? Is there news today for oil? Who knows? Well, glad I'm not looking at this morning. That's terrible. So ES is still respecting the order block up here. Want to fast forward to second week of February. Yeah, I don't like it here either. I really don't. I mean, when we get close to all the holidays, it's going to be terrible price action. Like that week. Um, Thanksgiving week typically is not the best. Uh, Christmas week, not the best either. We have New Year's as well. Tons of bank holidays in there. Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, if you don't like, if people aren't, um, trained for that, like you haven't been through it before, you're gonna, for sure, people are gonna take trades, and it's gonna kill their confidence because they don't know why it's not playing out. But it's all just very low probability stuff. I would say it's very important, um, through November, December, January, to use that economic calendar as your roadmap, and preferably you only trade the days with some sort of high impact red folder news that's tradable, right? So if you look at the daily bias picture, from yesterday, basically Monday and Tuesday would be days you wouldn't trade, and you really, really got to adhere to those rules you have about low probability stuff. Bank holidays, day after, low probability. Mondays will be even more low probability. Um, CPI, FOMC, NFP protocol, all those things are very, very important later months. That's why ICT just steps away. It's not a lot of high probability setups. It's probably not as bad as August. August is probably the worst month of the year to trade, ICT concepts at least. Knowing your model delivery. Oh, what does that say? Oh, knowing your model will deliver space. Oh, the ICT space, I see. Let me see if I can pull it up and send it actually. If you don't already know, there is a Spotify account that posts all of the Twitter spaces. So if you don't want to scroll all the way down on Twitter, I'll send a link to knowing your model. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I mean, these things are super good. And also on Spotify, you can just increase the speed to, like, I don't know, like 1.2 speed or 1.5, whatever you want. Here's the link. So if you look at the prophecy chat, there's your Spotify link. Bunch of good ones. Knowing your model will deliver is a good one. The one right before that was solid. There's your 9:30 open, by the way. When adversity becomes your objectives to overcome, this is also a solid one too. This one as well. Yeah, all these tinfoil ones are good too. I actually like all of them. Some of them are definitely pretty long, but it's nice to listen. I mean, it's gonna be even more meaningful now that he doesn't do them anymore. I think there's the last one's on Saturday, right? He said there's another one on Saturday, and it should be the last space that he's gonna do. So if you want to tune in, it should be around 8 a.m. EST. That's typically when it is. ES gave you the lows. Oh, there we go. Nice. And we got the lows down here. Oh, we didn't. What the heck is up with ES today? It's also down here too. Gaps in there. Let's look at the 3-minute gap. Yeah, there you go. So I'll just mark this gap out. Another low. Exactly. Yeah, it is gonna be kind of weird with ICT gone. No Twitter spaces, no YouTube videos, nothing like that. Hasn't dawned on me yet. I mean, he's definitely equipped everyone with really everything you need to know. I was watching yesterday, I was looking at the 2017 core content, and there's a really, really nice video I want to look at. It's called I think it's the Intraday Market Profiles. I'll send a link if I can find it again. That one might be really, really good. I think it only applies to Forex, but I'm sure it might be month 7 or month 8. I don't really know. It was a really good one. Has to do with the London session, New York session, and then the London close, which is technically this 10:30 to 12 time frame. So approaching this 10:30 time, we'll see what we want to do here. Let's look at. Do you have a breaker in here? Potential entry. We'll see the sibi. We'll see. It's not the cleanest breaker, so I don't really like using a time fib on that. If we do get a fill within this next 2 minutes, then it'd be kind of interesting. So, good old 10:30. Let me send a screenshot of this. to predictions chat. So 10:30, we're definitely in a sell program here, starting to respect these bullish PD or bearish PD rays. So if we do get a retracement up into this order block here, I'll just mark out the entire thing. Something like that. Could be looking for possible short off that. Do also have to be mindful of this gap up here. But further sell side, we'll see where it wants to take us now. And then once we see a closure through this, could look for a propulsion block being used there. So watch to see if you want to, let me remove this IPG sibi up here. Okay, so watch to see if you want to use that. Tapping up past the order block. Optimal entry would be the sibi, stop above the high. Do a lot of buy sit up there though. Now below that sell side, I do have gap down here, 15-minute gap at the, what is this? Right below. Roughly at what, 15,299-ish? Looking good. Trading off the order block right now. Candle buys respecting the discount end. And got some acceleration. So I'm still looking for this sell side as the partial New York AM low for NQ. Obviously 20 points from the order block would be basically down this low. And then the bisi after that. Great speed off of there. Confirm this as an order block, so should see speed off that as well. Tempted to enter a short there. Oh, of course. See if we can take a short on this. If it wants to work. There we go. Stop. I'm looking at high up here. 2 order blocks. Take profit. Low with the first one. We'll do it slightly below. Just a little demo here. Doesn't play out, it's alright. But I think analysis isn't terrible, right? Got an order block here, respected it, closed below. Trading to the second order block with sell side target. Move this 930 open now. Wicked up, closed below. Should see hopefully another wick below. Basically what, like a 1 to 2 for the most part. Stop is right at this high for the most part. Don't want to see a trade above there. I don't know what this is. 1.87. Kind of a quick first partial for sure, but slightly below this relative equal lows. So I'm watching that. 3-minute sibi as well. Only reason I'm looking at NQ instead of ES is because we're kind of further up, so there's more room to run on NQ than there is on ES. Yes, we're already trading lower, right? Already swept at these relative equal lows. and trading lower. So I would like to see NQ catch up. That's kind of the bias. So I'm expecting NQ to like quickly run to where it is on ES, so we can pair them up. That's why I'm favoring, yeah, six sister exactly. So whenever I see that, I typically don't like trading the weaker one, just because we're already kind of extended, especially if it's trying to sweep into sell side liquidity pools. I don't want to get taken a short right before it reverses. And here I feel like there's definitely a little bit cleaner entries, filling that 3-minute gap, order block there. Let's go back to ES. Do have this order block here and this gap we're filling. So I guess it's cleaner on ES instead of NQ. But it still supports the idea that we should trade lower, right? Filling the gap here, tapping to the order block. Candle buyers respecting it. So a bunch of stuff that still points that NQ should still want sell side. Good 2 points up right now. Sell side down here too. I don't know why this is so far. So I should see speed now. I don't know what this first partial is. 12-ish points. Not terrible. Then you look at the 15-minute chart over here. Do you have this gap down here that's been left unfilled? So if you want to reach down, you have an order block down here as well. So another order block. Confirm that. We're not getting displacement. Let's take a look at the 3-minute. Clean on the 3-minute. Yeah, it definitely is clean on the 3-minute. I want to see speed though. We're tapping into these order blocks multiple times and no displacement past these lows. So we want to see just a clean. That's why the sell limit is slightly, or the buy limit is slightly past the lows here. I want to see a one candle clean it out, then we can get on with our day. Tap into that order block there as well. It's very reluctant to move lower. Not really liking it too much. Let me trim the stop to right here. Yeah, I'm not really liking it too much. Still got what? 7 minutes till the macro, or the quote unquote macro ends. Yeah, I got getting close to that stop there. Let's look at the 3-minute. There's a stop out. So didn't really get any speed. I'll send a screenshot of this to the predictions chat. Keep it transparent as always. I mean, yeah, step into their bisi. Nice. You get 5 points off that. 5 points on the dot. Well, it is what it is. Trading him to the sibi here. Swept out the short-term buy side. Of course, now we get a clean rejection off of that. Yeah, we might just see a bleed now right after sweeping out that short-term high. Let me remove this and this. I mean, trace into the sibi, took out the short-term buy side there. Now we should see a trade back lower. Instant rejection. Yeah, there's your BPR, so confirmed basically reversal. On these lower time frames, this run up here and this run down, clear BPR. So preferably you don't want to see a trade up through here. Oh, let me take a screenshot of this really quick. So there is your, what, 1030 loss. How many points is that? Literally 11 points. Nothing terrible. Just poor stop placement, I guess. Should have left it above this sibi. Now watch it dump off. Can't win them all. Take this off. As you can see. So traded through there. Like to see this now used as an order block. It's still very choppy. I mean, you can see basically after 10:05, it's been in this consolidation on the 2-minute. Nothing really clean. Trade up through there. I'm sure on the lower time frames, a tiny fair value gap in there. We just traded up into. Remove some of this. Nothing clean about this though. 1050 may give an entry if we see displacement in the next 3 to 5 minutes. Otherwise, probably be done for the morning. Definitely not the cleanest AM session. Definitely yesterday was cleaner. No breaker in here either. Can't draw time fib. Lime is just bleeding off slowly. Looks like a high resistance liquidity run down to the lows here. Kind of a market maker sell model. Could be looking at. Right. So if this is the draw for YM, that should push indices a little bit lower. We're still misaligned heavily. There's ES trading back lower. This is not any price action you really want to be trading, right? A lot of volume bounces, wicks, disrespect of PD raise, and then trading back lower. So preferably you want to see speed through these relative equal lows. It's been forming a lot of sell side below there. But very evident of a high resistance liquidity run. A lot of sell side building up. Sweep through it. Don't get any speed through there, targeting the low. Instead we retrace, consolidate, trace up into there, trade back lower, still sell side liquidity. So you could see a purge of that then in the retracement leg, which is why I don't really want to be in it. See, this also should be a wick. Yeah, so let's see if we want to trade past 50% of that wick. Yeah, there's really nothing at all. Preferably, you don't want to see a trade up through this high if you want to see sell side. Already swept that out once. Tapped into a sibi. So I would expect after the next couple candles here, we see speed through the lows. Gun to my head, that's what I'm favoring, but we also do have a lot of buy set up here. So it's like, it's 50-50 for sure. And anytime 50-50, low probability. Yeah, macro there, not the best either. Let me actually want to take a screenshot of the ES 950 macro before I forget. Here's your sibi. order block here, the order block right here, and then 950 macro. So I'll send this to the macro view if you're interested in that. A little bit cleaner than NQ for sure, but I'll still take a picture of the NQ one if you want to back test and tape read it. Don't really want to take up too much of your time just staring at these candles go up and down. There's really no trade setup I see. If we swept this out and started reverse, then that'd be a nice buy side sweep. $15,664. 664. I think you mean 364, right? 15,364. This is definitely kind of clean for my liking. Yep, see you, my man. Yeah, I'll probably end the stream here. We'll look at the 1050, first couple minutes of 1050 macro. If there's nothing in there, then we'll end the stream off. Took 1-to-1 on ES and got out. Just need 2% to pass Apex. Hey, super close. Definitely could probably get it next week. What's the risk percentage you're risking per trade? I mean, 2%. You probably could make that in probably like 4 trades, something like that. Oh yeah, definitely could do it next week. Just gotta be careful of CPI that's dropping. Trading up again once through here. So I'm watching these bullish PD arrays. Got a down closing candle here, another down closing candle used as propulsion. So these relative equal highs. So I'm looking at, let me send that to predictions as well. Starting to trade up, so we'll see now. You can see this fair value gap in the order block here. Kind of a breaker. Not really. I mean, if you saw this liquidity as your breaker, then could use that. There's your sell side or buy side swept out. But we do have an order block here. Down closing range confirmed. You can also see that as an inversion order block, but inversion sibi here, and the fair value gap right in here, all could be used for a framework to go long. Take a look at ES. Yeah, starting to reverse there after filling that gap marked out earlier. So whenever you have salsa liquidity like this, you want to look to the left of it to see if there's any gaps that are decently close. So if you look at the 3-minute salsa liquidity pool, and then here's your gap, your first gap. So a lot of times, high probability reversals would be a sweep of sell stops and then a dip into some sort of fair value gap. Same thing with a sell program. You want to see a sweep of buy stops and then a trade up into either an order block, some sort of premium PD array. And here we see a discount PD array being swept after we took out the sell side. So I'm watching to see how we want to use this fair value gap. Not going to take anything. I'm just watching. We can see we're just rejecting off that. Like, we're not using this. We should see a closure probably around this premium end of the IFVG. But this is what low probability looks like. Right? Yesterday you could see at least some, if you take a kind of mental screenshot of this, right? Nothing, a lot of PD arrays being disrespected back and forth. Multiple trade ideas failed. We got that loss, right? And then eventually just ran up. It didn't even run off the sell side, never mind. So we would have gotten stopped on the right regardless. But then if you look at yesterday, definitely wasn't as clean, but we got that nice run up here. Then we got the trade lower, came up, filled the per value gap in premium, traded back again. We have a nice fractal marker maker sell model in there, able to capture that. 1050 macro, We got a fair value gap in here that I screenshotted with the order block, right? Then you could use the 1050 candle right there as your entry point. Don't even see a trade back lower. So if you entered on the 1050 candle as soon as it opened, you would see what, like a tick of drawdown? Literally a tick of drawdown. Then we shot all the way up towards the buy side, formed a nice sell model here, just respected this order block, right? Came down, closed into this bisi, respected the order block, traded back lower again. Could use this propulsion block as, so this order block here, traded up into it, created another order block that approached or closed into a previous one in a sell program. So this order block, as soon as you tap into it, don't want to see mean threshold purged with a candle body, which you can see the candle bodies here staying at the low end, but it typically creates speed off of it. So trade up into the propulsion block, boom, sold off, all during lunch hour, by the way, but another clean model, right? And guess what time it's within, right? Here's your macro time right in there. This candle leg is up to 1208. Could also use this 1159 candle as a entry short. Another trade up into the fair value gaps here, and then we had bond auctions at 101. So that's something that's labeled as an orange folder news for some reason, but I mean, you can see the volatility it brought. So from now on, I'm going to be looking for bond auctions. I know they don't really happen too often, but if we see that on the calendar, just consider that as red folder. Typically happens in the PM session, so it doesn't kind of affect us as much, but if you do trade the PM session, that's something to be aware of. So if you see this large volatility that comes in at 1, that's typically what it is, bond auctions. And you can see the nice fractal market sell model in there. That's actually super clean. I'm curious to see if we use a fib in there. Oh, we don't see a fib. Oh no, we don't. So, but yeah, and then today, look at today, right? There's no fractal market maker sell model. I mean, this is a very rough buy model, but I wouldn't even, like, look how close we got to the sell side. And we sold sell side here. We're not even below equities open. So if anything, you would like to see ES start to catch up now, which it looks like it's starting to do. Filling the gap there within 1050 macro. So could be looking for the short-term buy side, at least on ES. That's like the cleaner of the two. So watch this. We'll send a screenshot of this to predictions chat for the 1050 macro. Don't even look at it in Q. Definitely not the move. Trading up through there, filled the order block, starting to trade up now. I won't be taking that, but man, if you want to look at 20 points from the IFVG up to there. So that's what I'm anticipating to play out. I have buy set up here as well. Could also be looking for new highs. We also have the daily buy side above that, so be mindful of that as well. Looks like we want to get up further up to premium. Another thing to be aware of. So this reversal here, we see it climb past 50% of this range. If you can see that, let me see if I can make it thicker. So there you go. So first leg up past 50%. I'm assuming that confirms the market maker buy model with the original consolidation over here. Just have to see if it wants to be used as such. So we'll see how we want to use this down closing range now. All these down closing candles should support price. Yeah, definitely not, you know, the cleanest of 1050 macros, but probably the cleaner out of this one. Cleaner out of this one for sure. So we'll watch to see if it wants to play out. Gotta watch this order block low, right around the 20 points too, in case you want to take partial off that too. So I think we'll go ahead and end it off there. Still watch for that buy side in case you want to purge it. Got p.m. high from yesterday. Also may want to attack that, and then obviously the daily buy side all the way up here. Let me send a screenshot of this to predictions chat one last time. Watch this down closing range as well. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. The live stream recording will be posted by probably 1 p.m. with HD rendering. So if you want to wait for that, that should be posted up by, 1-ish, maybe 12 at the earliest. So until I see you guys next week, as always, thank you so much for spending your morning with me. I'm hopefully able to provide some sort of learning opportunities or just entertainment for you. Until I see you guys on Monday, have a safe weekend. Don't do anything stupid. If you decide to trade the rest of the day, use proper risk management, follow your rules, things of such. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Get some sunshine if there's some sun out where you live. And I will see you guys on Monday. Peace.